Hey, it's Matt. Got my new gray Tesla hat on. Thank you, Jake. And I'm getting ready to download version 6 software into my car, which will also have a name when we're done. So we know that they've upgraded the navigation and they've upgraded the air suspension and things like that. But what most people haven't noticed, or at least haven't talked much about, are the new graphics on the display. So before I download, I want you to see the old ones. So one of the unique things about a Tesla is that they can actually change the user experience simply by downloading new software to the cars overnight in the garage while you sleep. And you get a notification of this that appears on the main panel, which I'll show you in a moment. But first I thought I would show you the graphics that will be changing so you can see the original graphics before I do the update. So let's take a look at the main display as it sits in a static car. So I've put up a trip computer and the energy display because they will give us a pretty good idea of what the background graphics look like. And now I'm going to put the car into the on mode, and you'll see it flip over to the speedometer. Ready? Yeah, I didn't put my seatbelt on. Car's not happy about me sitting here without my seatbelt on. So there's the display that we're familiar with. And you'll notice that the background has kind of a brushed aluminum look to it, kind of a smoked brushed aluminum. And there's also some depth and reflections to the main display. So here I'm showing you a little bit closer up this kind of brushed surface that we're used to, and then sort of this backlit look that the display has along the edges. Just so you can get a comparison for what the, I guess the original graphics of the Model S look like. I don't think these over here change any. Also, while we're on the topic, on the update version, we should be getting new graphics along the top here, or at least the addition of the calendar function. Now you receive a notification that the car is ready to download by this little alarm clock up here, which if it's opened when you get into the car, which mine was, until a child closed it without me seeing it. If you hit that, we can bring it back, and it asks for you to schedule or install now. So we're going to install now. Alright, I'm hesitating a little bit because I actually really like the original graphics. They do have a kind of a brushed dial look to them that kind of gives it some depth that I think I'm going to miss. And that's probably the downside of having a car that can be updated remotely after you buy it, is that while you gain a lot of new features, and definitely there's more good than there is bad, you do lose some of the things you're familiar with. And your car kind of changes over time. It's almost more like a person than a machine that way. And that's not the only time I've thought that this car had a lot of personality, which surprised me because it doesn't have an engine. And I didn't know if a car without an engine and without exhaust note would have personality, but they definitely do. So our relationship is going to be evolving a little bit when I hit this button. And I'm going to miss the old Serena. It was very good to us. But I am interested to see what else they have done. As a word of note, we did do a couple runs to 60 to see if the throttle mapping really changed, as was rumored. And on half of a charge, this car did 0 to 60 in 5 seconds and 5.2 seconds on 2 consecutive runs. So I will be repeating those after the update to see if it changed at all. But I guess it's time. So I'm going to hit the button. And I'm going to install now. Okay. And I get this notice. It says, during the update process, you will not be able to drive the vehicle or use the touchscreen, and your car alarm may be disarmed for the duration. The car must be in park, and it will start in about 2 minutes. So I am going to plug the charger back in so that it has power while it's doing this, and I'll see you on the other side. While the car is updating, I have a very glamorous project planned, which is to convert that toilet to a dual flush toilet. Not that anybody cares. But what I did think was interesting is while the car is sitting here quietly updating, if you look at the charger on the wall over there, it stopped charging. So it's only been on the update for maybe 5 minutes now, and somewhere along the way it stopped charging as part of the update process. Just something to keep in mind if you are thinking you're going to install the update and then immediately drive away, that it does interrupt, or at least appears to interrupt, the charging process. as would be expected. Well, as is typically the case in these things, I'm missing a couple parts I thought I had. So I'm going to have to go back to the hardware store and get different seals to do the conversion to the 2-flush toilet. The upside is, Serena has been quietly updating over here. No, she has not been quiet at all. She's been groaning and creaking and clicking and whirring and making all kinds of very unpleasant noises. I don't recommend working in your garage when your car's doing this. It's a little disturbing. But in addition to flashing her lights at me a few times, which was kind of exciting when I didn't expect it, the charging seems to have resumed. If you see the light over there over my shoulder. And I think maybe that means the update's done. So let's take a look and see what we find. Ooh, that looks promising. Let's see what else is there. Well, by now you've no doubt read a lot of the release notes for version 6. They're all over the internet. Lots of owners have it already, and there's nothing new there. But what you may not have seen is the final notification that, in fact, your car's not broken. This is a good thing to see for somebody who's never done this before. So, here's what you're looking for. Right there. Right there. Update succeeded. Oh my gosh, that is a good thing to see whenever you hear your car whirring away in the garage. And there's the release notes that you have no doubt seen elsewhere. And there's all kinds of fun new features and fun new things that the car can do that we will be exploring over the next few days. My gosh, there's a lot of stuff here. I should probably read those. But here's an allusion to what I was really concerned about, which is the way the graphics look. And that's kind of why we're here. So let's see what we find. Well, that's unexpected. I went to close the window and I was given the opportunity to enter the name of my car, which I absolutely am going to do. Oh, okay. Well, there she is, Serena, named in the car under the T, and of course now running version 65.15. So there we go. What's new? Well, we know at the top we've gained a calendar, and of course you see that the clock is no longer there because the update's been done. And not really sure what to expect with the calendar. It means I need to buy a better phone, apparently is what it means. So there's that. Okay, here's the main display, and looking at it, I don't see too much that's different from before. Actually, the brushed aluminum background does appear to still be there, at least on the top of the page. I'm referring to as the texture kind of up along the top there. I can't remember now whether there was a blacker texture of the same material down there below or not, but let's flip it over into a drive mode and see what we get. And of course, Serena's going to yell at me because I'm not wearing a seatbelt. It's very dangerous to be filming without a seatbelt, so don't do that at home, children. Here we do see some definite differences, though. The graphics are a lot flatter. The brushed aluminum in the middle of the dial is gone, and it's just kind of simplified in general. And we also gained a white line between the green and the gray in the rated range meter. So now I've zoomed in so you can see a little bit better the texture I'm referring to up there. Actually, let's iris this down a little bit. This is a little bit more what it looks like in real life. There is no texture in the middle where there was before, and a lot of that halo or that gradient that used to be kind of along the edges here that made it look sort of backlit, that is gone, and we gained a white line there between the green and the gray on the range. The rest of this looks pretty much the same. Now, one thing I noticed on a friend of mine's car, Jake, who had already upgraded, is even though the car is named, the name doesn't actually appear anywhere except underneath that Tesla T. And frankly, I think that they kind of missed an opportunity there. Because if you're going to name your car, you want to see the name of the car, right? And there's plenty of leftover area on that dial where you could put the name of the car. At the top right, at the bottom of the speedometer, in the middle, emboss it somewhere, give it a nice Tesla font. But they didn't choose to do that. So it definitely does look different. I'm interested to see if the throttle mapping results in a faster acceleration, and once I've done that, we'll wrap this up. So I've installed version 6, as I mentioned before, and I duplicated the 0 to 60 runs that I had done prior to the install. Same location, similar charge on the battery. It is about 15 degrees colder tonight than it was when I did them before, but the 0 to 60 times are the same, at least within the margin of error for the way that I'm timing them myself, which is about 5 seconds flat on the S85. So the cars don't appear to be any faster with the new software. It feels a little faster, and the regen does feel a little smoother, but that could be the placebo effect. Doesn't change anything though. This is a phenomenal car, and she's still quite the looker, even if she's not any faster. Let's see if we can get it to flip around and give us a change. Now here are the changes. Yes, I know. I'm not belted in, and my charge port is still open. I am endangering the welfare of everybody. Alright, but if we look at the actual display itself, we see it is now greatly satisfied. I'm going to have to turn that, I'm going to have to close that to get it to come up, I think. Pardon me. And I'm getting ready to download